What's up, everybody? I am Travesty.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And welcome back to another episode of this Freakin show. It is the weekly podcast with a little bit of something and a whole lot of nothing. The same weekly podcast that is brought to you by Audible.com. Now, if you're just like me and you're a huge fan of stories and history, you're just not a huge fan of reading those stories or reading about history yourself, Audible.com is the best place for you to go. It's the one-stop shop for all audiobooks. And if you go to audibletrial.com/freaknet today, you yourself will get a 30-day free trial of Audible, and on top of that, you get a credit to your first book purchase. Now, Joe, I know you're a fan of Audible.
I love Audible.
And the biggest thing, and I think it will benefit you the most, because you actually enjoy reading books yourself.
I do love reading.
Now you have the ability to not only read a book yourself when you're at home on your downtime, but you also have the ability to get a book read to you while you're in the car driving somewhere.
That is true.
Your whole life could be books.
It often is, right? Thanks to audible.com.
Exactly. So go to audibletrial.com/freaknet, that's FREAKNET. Today, get your 30-day free trial, plus your credit to your first book purchase.
Do it.
Right. Joe, I mentioned it before, and I want to say it again on the podcast. I am fucking falling apart, and I have no one to blame but myself.
Sorry.
And the thing is, like, you know, and I mentioned it, I may have mentioned it last, I can't remember if I mentioned it on the show last week or anything, because my hand's been hurting for about a month. And it's ever since I started this new job. And at first I thought maybe it was a physical labor thing, like maybe I'm just doing too much work, you know, and I'm not used to it because I've been sitting behind a desk for like 7 fucking years.
I get that.
But it gets to the point now where too much is too much. You know? Or how much is too much if you want to ask that question. And I came to the conclusion, along with the professional opinion of a close friend, a former neighbor of mine, to determine that it's possible carpal tunnel. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying to like look up information on carpal tunnel syndrome and figuring out what causes it and what did I do to myself.
And of course, WebMD says that you're already dead. Exactly.
And for you people out there, like what is that called? A hypochondriac?
I think so.
Okay. I think it's those people that like assume there's always something wrong with them or there's has to be something wrong with them. Yeah. Yep. So, never used WebMD. Because there was one day where like, I had something weird going on with me and I couldn't figure out what the fuck it was. And it gave me the options of either a headache or cancer. And, obviously,
the most WebMD thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. So I went more towards cancer. Like, fuck, it has to be fucking cancer. There's no way this is a headache. It's in my teeth. But I was looking at like all the information on carpal tunnel syndrome and like what causes it and what does it. Apparently, smoking could cause it, or excessive sugar could cause it, or obesity could cause it. So literally, I've been a ticking time bomb my whole life for carpal tunnel syndrome.
How does eating sugar or smoking cause it?
You know what? I'm not quite sure how.
I'm not sure how obesity could either, but like, it does so many things sometimes that I don't even want to deal with it, but I just don't understand. Is it like, are they assuming people are just eating it right out of the bowl? And it's like the way you're holding the spoon is pinching that nerve?
Oh, I don't know. It has to fucking be, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure, and this is something actually I thought about the other day. And I want to kind of get your opinion on this thought I just had. And you can tell me, full honesty, if you believe I'm 100% wrong. But think about it and tell me if it makes a little bit of sense. Everything we know about in this world was a complete fucking guess, right? It had to have been.
At some point.
Right? I mean, like, when you think about, like, carpal tunnel syndrome wasn't something that we just automatically know about from the very fucking beginning. Somebody had taken a complete guess and said, this symptom and what's going on, this is what it's called. Because somebody had to fucking name it.
Right.
But how do you truly know that that's the accurate thing? They just gave it a fucking name, gave it its symptoms, and said, if you're doing this, this is what you have.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like a percentage thing. Like, this is what's most likely based on what we think we know.
Mm-hmm.
And what we think we know is changing all the time.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing too. Cures. Cures had to be a complete fucking guess too, right?
Oh yeah, for
like,
sure. I mean, they used to do all sorts of stuff that just doesn't make any sense now.
Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna read you the causes of carpal tunnel real quick, and I'm interested in some of these. So, anatomic factors, a detachment at the wrist or arthritis, which can change the shape of a small bone in the wrist, can alter the space within the carpal tunnel and put pressure on the medium nerve. They give you the most common one. I think that's the one that makes the more sense. The most sense.
Right.
Like excessive use and stuff like that. It's more common in women since they have smaller carpal tunnel, which they say sex and not gender. So at first I thought sex, like, well, maybe you're spending too much alone time with yourself.
Yeah.
Clearly I was wrong. Again, nerves damaging conditions such as diabetes increase the risk. So diabetes could cause carpal tunnel.
Interesting.
Let's see. Obesity and hyperthyroidism are associated with the condition.
Really?
Tumors such as lymphoma.
I don't know. Probably lymphoma. You probably had it right.
But there should be a PH.
Oh, is there not?
Lipoma.
Oh man, I've never heard of that one.
It's either a spelling error.
Yeah. Another reason not to go to WebMD, right?
Yep. No, this is Google. This is straight up
geez.
Google. This is straight up Google shit now.
Shame.
I just Google carpal tunnel, and boom, it gives you the entire right side on what to do and how to fix it, blah, 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 blah. Lymphoma and ganglion that protrude into the carpal tunnel. Okay, so maybe it's not lymphoma, but lymphoma, whatever.
Right.
Occupational factors. Sewers, knitters, bakers, and cashiers are more likely to be affected. Pregnancy. A hereditary condition called Charcot-Marie tooth disease.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, so basically my options right now are using a splint, to help kind of like relieve the pain. Take a bunch of ibuprofen, or cortisone shots or surgery.
Yikes.
So I'm at the no insurance point of my life.
Right, you got the ibuprofen.
Yeah, that and, wearing this stupid ass splint. Which I gotta tell you is actually pretty fun and comfortable, except for this odd beanbag they got in my palm, but whatever.
Oh, I've never seen splint like that. They must have improved splint technology since I had to wear one.
Right. I got it at Amazon. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty proud of it.
Nice. Last time I had a splint, it was basically like you could tell it was just a couple of pieces of metal in like a sleeve of cloth.
Was it like, that old timer one that was like brown leather and like Velcros and shit?
Yep.
And you can actually like take the piece of metal like directly out and just hit your fucking siblings with it? Cause I'm not gonna lie, we did that a lot.
Yep. That's exactly the one.
I actually wore that, when I did pro wrestling, like backyard wrestling and shit with like my buddies. Because it had the hidden piece of metal in there.
Nice.
That I was able to kind of pull out and crack someone in the head with it real quick as like a heel move.
Nice.
Deep down, I guess my mom really needed it. But, well, shit.
Yep.
But,
we needed it more.
Yeah. So the brand name on this, and I'm gonna product placement this, so maybe they'll sponsor the podcast. The brace is called Comfy Brace. Pretty sure it's for women. Not really sure though.
If it works, it works. Doesn't matter.
I just don't understand, like, why
that product needs to be gendered, first of all.
Well, like, I don't understand why things have to have, like, one gender on, like, a box.
Right?
Because if I see, like, a comfy brace, and there's a box, and there's two different pictures on it of two different people using this brace, and they're both female, my mind, I instantly go to, maybe I bought a woman's brace.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, it fits my hand, and, it's fucking comfy. So,
nice.
I'm gonna assume it's unisex. I know it's ambidextrous because you use it for either hand.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm very happy with this. The beanbag thing's a little bit weird because, the beans don't stay in one spot, but hell, whatever. Alright, so that's enough about my carpal tunnel, because that one, right? There's so much. Yeah, so hopefully my friend, Doc, physical therapist, I don't know if we call her Doc, I don't know, Doc.
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 Okay.
We'll call it Doc. She gave me some ideas. Definitely she recommended the brace, which I did. I looked up some things online. It says sleep with your, arm over the edge of the bed, which I don't sleep on my stomach, so I can't fucking do that. Weirdest thing though, and I don't know if this is common, and if anyone out there listening has carpal tunnel syndrome and you relate to this, please let me know because I need some kind of feedback on it, because for some reason, I don't know a lot of people out there that have carpal tunnel.
Yeah, I feel like I don't either.
Yeah. And I always thought it was an old person thing. So clearly it's not because I'm not old.
Right. Or like a typist thing.
Yeah, yeah. But when I wake up in the morning, I can't close my hand into a fist. It hurts way too much. But as I'm waking up and I'm starting to move a little bit more and I jump in the shower and I'm starting to clean up, my hand gets a lot looser. I could go the entire day doing the warehouse work I do, which is excessive hand movements and moving shit and everything, without feeling any pain whatsoever. And the pain does not come back till about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Now that's a common thing in carpal tunnel, which kind of leads me more down that road. Is it happens a lot in the morning, it happens a lot in the evening, it happens a lot when you're not moving your hand. Cause we just shot a video for Freakin Studios this past weekend. And my hand didn't bother me one bit while we were working on that video.
Right.
It didn't bother me at all. It bothered me a little bit when I woke up in the morning, which I only slept for an hour because I told you that, because I kind of stayed up the entire day. But it's just I guess as long as it keeps moving, everything's fine. But I know as soon as I lay down to go to bed and everything, to count my sheep and, Z it out or however the fuck you use the Z's for. It's gonna kill me at some point. And if I wake up in the middle of the night with it, I won't be able to fall back asleep.
Right.
So, anyways, carpal tunnel. We can talk more about it down the line because I'm assuming this isn't gonna fucking go away. Just like this podcast and just like our sponsor, audible.com, audibletrial.com/freaknet. You can probably get a book and learn about carpal tunnel syndrome.
Probably true.
True that. Owned by Amazon. Who fucking knew?
Audible?
Yeah, Audible is owned by Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did know that, and I'm pissed, secretly and quietly, that it's not available as part of a Prime membership.
It should be.
Right?
Absolutely should be.
I don't know. It's fine.
So we're going to dedicate this entire show to the coronavirus.
COVID-19!
Right, because that's a thing that's really happening, and I think it would be in our best interest to actually cover a little bit about it. Before we do that, I do want to dive into our segment that we do here called What That Freaking Happened. And Joey, if you're ready, you're more than welcome to start here. If not, I can go first.
I completely forgot about it, so how about you go first and I'll look something up.
That's awesome, because I actually have two of them.
Nice.
I have two of them because they coincide with each other.
Nice.
Okay, on March 13th, 1781, the planet Uranus is discovered by Sir William Herschel. It was the first planet discovered by telescope. At first he thought it was a comet, but observations from other astronomers proved it was a planet. Uranus is the seventh planet from the sun and is classified as an ice giant. It is the only planet whose name is derived from Greek mythology. Greek god of sky, Uranus. Check in 149 years later, Joe. To the day, 149 years later, to the day, on March 13th, 1930. The discovery of the dwarf planet Pluto is announced.
No kidding.
It has been discovered from pictures taken earlier by the Lowell Observer in Arizona. So, Uranus and Pluto pretty much discovered 149 years apart, but on the same day.
Nice. Now, I have a question about this because
I'm not an astronomer, so don't.
That's fair.
That. Okay,
I'm just what was it saying about the god name?
Is the only one derived from a Greek god?
Oh, as opposed to a Roman god. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. The other ones are Romans, right?
Right.
Alright. Is Earth a Roman god?
I don't think so. I don't know why Earth is Earth.
I know Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, and I thinking Mars, but Saturn escapes me and so is Earth.
Yep, Saturn is also one, and also Pluto. Pluto is the Roman god of the dead.
Ah, thought that was the speechless dog at Disney.
Also that.
Yes. Did you find
weird? The dog with the weird kink.
He ain't no Goofy.
Yep.
Did you ever find one?
Oh yeah. Here's one that's interesting to me. In 1935, on March 12th, a 3,000-year-old archive was found in Jerusalem confirming biblical history. And that's all it says here on HistoryNet. So I don't know much about it.
Yeah,
let's find out about this, because I'm intrigued.
Hell yeah, Joe. You are the guy. You are the guy. You need to share with me what the hell's going on.
Yeah, Jerusalem Archive, huh? I've never heard about this, to be honest with you, which is weird, because I'm usually really up to date on my
Jerusalem knowledge?
Well, on my biblical history stuff, yeah. I'm guessing, without being able to find it very clearly, that it has to do with the Dead Sea Scrolls somehow. But I don't know. I googled it, nothing came up. So might be a lie.
Might be fake news, bro.
Might be fake news.
Speaking of, no more Sanders?
What?
No more Bernie? Bernie's out?
No. Not as far as I know.
Why the hell did I hear that Bernie's out?
Oh, a lot of people say he's done because he lost in Michigan, but he's still only like 100 delegates behind Biden. And I think at the upcoming debate, if they don't find a reason to cancel it, that Bernie's going to mop the floor with him. And I think it's going to be enough.
I thought I heard somewhere, and I believe you more than what I've heard. I heard somewhere that because he was so far behind that he backed out, and that Biden was going to be the only person in the debate, which made no sense to me because I figured a debate was between two people.
Right.
But in my understanding, they're pretty much just going to ask him the questions, get the answers from him, and a 2-hour-long Democratic debate with no audience.
Oh, weird.
So
I have not heard that.
I don't know where I heard it from. I know I watched some video that was kind of explaining some kind of news video. But I believe you more. If he's still in, I'm going to believe you 100%, but I could have sworn I heard that he left, but.
Yeah. No, yesterday he was talking about how he's staying in the race. I thought for sure he was going to drop out yesterday when he started talking. But, he started it and it sounded like that, and then he took a hard left turn and was basically like, so I'm looking forward to the debate with my friend Joe Biden on Sunday. And, there was like an undertone of threat there that I was just like, yes, Bernie. Kick his ass.
Right. Feel the burn.
Yeah.
Oh god. Alright, well cool. I mean, it would have been pretty boring if it was just Biden left.
Right.
I mean, I do like the debates, and I'm kind of curious on how Biden does. Because clearly he's not all there anymore.
Right. If he has a good night on Sunday, I think it might be over for Bernie. But, I don't think Biden has that many good nights left in him, personally. So, we'll see. We'll see. And I'll live with it if that's how it goes. But, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. And there's some really sketchy shit going on in the primaries that I'm nervous about, that I don't know if it's like, if it's fake news or if it's true, but, I heard that there was a lot of, voter suppression going on in terms of not having enough precincts open for people to go vote in areas that were almost guaranteed to go for Bernie. There's also a lot of evidence that somehow the turnout from older people was so great that it actually dwarfed the increased turnout from young people, which would be amazing and incredible. And I can't really be mad about that, except for that, must be nice to be well off enough to not want your kids to have health care or a planet. But, anyhow. So I've also seen some stuff where the exit polls don't match up the way that they're supposed to with the actual results, which might indicate some election tampering. So we'll see. I don't think there's going to be any way to prove it with enough time to actually do anything, but it'll be the kind of thing that comes out just in time to make sure that Trump gets reelected.
Right. And I heard somebody mention that like this whole coronavirus thing is a huge ploy to scare people from going to the polls. And whether that's true or not, it's fucking March. It's not even close to November, and there's a good chance that this all blows over by June. Right. I'm not saying it will. I'm not putting a date on it, but it's very possible that this could completely blow. Now, if for some reason, let's say hypothetically, somewhere in the world there was one guy that made up the coronavirus, or let's just say hypothetically, and I'm not saying this happened, so don't quote me on this. Right. Let's say China made it up. Right. And they're blaming Trump for it. Let's just say, to push people away from voting. Right. Okay, because they want to scare people away so much they don't want to go and vote for Trump. But I think it's everybody. I mean, it's like nobody will go and vote. It's not just on the Republican side, it's also on the Democrat side.
Oh, completely. So, they would cancel the election, I think, before it would be trying to scare people away from voting.
Exactly. And plus, again, it's March. Like, I don't know, and obviously, and I'll be completely honest with you, other than what I see people bullshit through on Facebook to make me go look up more information online, because I don't sit there on a daily basis and Google coronavirus stuff. If I see someone post something, which brings us to this game we're going to do in a little bit, like, they just canceled this, they just canceled that. It's like, no shit, is it really getting like that severe? Because I knew it was a big thing. I knew 100% it was a huge thing. Right. I just didn't think it was oh God, I want to use a fancy word, but I'll fuck it up. Detrimental? Joey, do it. What's the word?
Detrimental.
Thank you. Yeah. I didn't think it was that bad for fucking, the U.S. I didn't. I honestly didn't. And maybe that's ignorance on my part, or not paying attention to the news too well. But you hear of Europe and you hear of Asia and it's being strongly affected by it. I get that maybe like the ports in like, let's say Florida, California, and New York. Mm-hmm. The major, ports and everything of entry. Right. But outside of that, like, I really don't hear much about it happening in Illinois or the Midwest altogether, except for maybe like a couple people that I've heard got it from being on a cruise ship. So,
yeah, the last I heard, and it might be there are 50 cases in Denver. There were like, I don't know, 12 or 13 cases in the Chicago area, and then a few more downstate. Here, Ohio, I think, has 100,000 potential cases.
Ohio?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they got hit hard, it sounds like. But the biggest thing is that we don't have a lot of good data on it right now is the biggest issue. And it's hard to tell whether or not, these numbers are completely accurate, if they're worse or if they're better. You know what I mean?
Well, isn't it possible too that some things they believe to be coronavirus could be something completely different?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because it's basically like a form of viral pneumonic.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, they could, God, and I'm just gonna sound like House here for a minute, but, do a cure for one and see if it works. Yeah, basically. What's that one fucking illness that was on the TV show House that they assumed it had to have been every single fucking time?
And it never was. Lupus.
Yeah, it has to be lupus. It has to be fucking lupus. It's like, right. Oh shit. This is our fucking lupus. But I want to dive in and talk about the coronavirus. And you did a great job there kind of explaining to me, like, the current, like, numbers and everything. Yeah. Obviously there's been a lot of cancellations on stuff, between, like, sporting events and concerts, and even this coming weekend, St. Patty's Day events, are being canceled all over the world. So, I want to play a quick game, and I know I said I was gonna have a name for it, but I just can't fucking do it. I can't think of a fucking name. Joe, can you think of a fun name? Fun name we call this? A goofy little fun name?
No, I'm trying, and nothing's coming. which sucks.
Yeah.
I feel so bummed about it.
I guess we could just call it My Corona. Kind of like My Corona.
I like that.
Corona. Cool.
We'll call
it My Corona. And I already explained the game to Joey, so he has an idea of what. But what I'm going to tell you guys is, I want to go through the list of shit that's been canceled over the last week, couple days actually, within the last few days. And we're going to give it 1 of 3 categories. Corona Light, Corona Premier, or Corona Extra. And basically if it's Corona Light, that means they're taking it too lightly, they're not really doing more than they should. Corona Premier, they're doing just enough to get the job done. Or Corona Extra, where they're blowing it way out of proportion, they're doing way too much, maybe they need to take a step back and realize it's not that bad. And of course, Joey being the intelligent one, and me just being here talking. Joey's gonna decide which goes where.
I'm ready.
Perfect. Okay. Let me pull some stuff here. See here. Cause I don't want to pull it off my phone, cause that is awesome. Here we go. I think this is it. I think this is the exact same. Look at that. I just pulled up the exact same website. Okay, so these are all regular events. I want to find the sporting events. Fuck it.
What I love about this is I am so clueless about sports that this is going to be like a wash.
Right. Okay. So, Madonna canceled the 2 Madonna X show in France scheduled for March 10th to the 11th.
I'm going to say that's Premiere because it sounds like France has hit pretty hard. And also I'm thinking about the age of Madonna's fans.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Because, the coronavirus has been explained that it affects more of the elderly and, infants, toddlers and stuff than it does people of like a middle age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it actually, it's a weird one. I'm going to throw this out there. Younger people, like normally with a flu or something, you see really young people, like babies and toddlers, and really old people who get hit. With the coronavirus, for whatever reason, it mostly only targets the older people. So it actually isn't really affecting infants and toddlers as much, as you might expect.
Okay. Alright, France has banned all gatherings of more than 1,000 people to prevent the spread of virus. Now, for this one, I want to focus specifically on the amount of people. So, 1,000 people or more, no go. But under 1,000, they're still okay with it.
That's a tough one, because I think the WHO, the World Health Organization, is recommending 100 people. Is the max that you should have. So part of me thinks that that's too light. On the other hand, the way it's sweeping through Europe right now, I'm concerned, I'm going to say too light. I'm going to say they're not doing enough.
Okay. This one's kind of similar. Santa Clara County in California has canceled all mass gatherings of more than 1,000 people. The mass gathering ban will go into effect at 12 a.m. Wednesday, which was yesterday, and will last at least 3 weeks. The move will directly impact events held at San Jose SAP Center, home of the NHL Sharks and AHL's Barracudas, as well as the Earthquake Stadium, home of the MLS Earthquake and potentially sporting events at Stanford University in Palo Alto. Sports is a huge thing, especially on the West Coast. There's a lot of cancellations. But again, this is another thing. County of California alone bans anything over 1,000 people.
I think I'm going to say that that's just right for now.
Okay. Miley Cyrus, who has set the headline an Australian brushfire relief concert on March 13th, released a statement saying she is no longer traveling to Australia for the show.
I'm gonna say Premiere. I'm gonna say that's the right choice for her. I'm thinking about her fans.
Not so much her.
Yeah.
But if it was just her.
If it was just her, it might be too much. She's a young woman.
Right. She probably has a private plane.
She has a private plane. She has, more money than either of us will make in our lifetimes unless we win the lottery. So she could probably do whatever she wanted and be fine. It's just a matter of who else is going to get sick if she makes that decision.
Exactly. Let's see what else is there. St. Patrick's Day parades and multi-million-dollar festivities surrounding them have been canceled in Boston and Dublin, Ireland.
Wow. I'm going to say that's just right. because I've been around Irish people drinking, and they get handsy. And handsiness is the cause of spreading it.
Gotcha. Coachella rescheduled for October 9th through the 11th and the 16th through the 18th.
It's almost frustrating because I feel like I'm just saying it's the right choice, but Coachella should be canceled anyway. That's how I feel.
I believe it. No, and that's the thing too. Is like because the biggest thing is like any action is a good action. You know, like I mean, like I guess it's to what extent like do you feel now? Again, we are in March, so who knows? Maybe by October this will all blow by. But
right.
now you're telling people, hey,
warmer weather tends to drive down infection rates for whatever reason. So
I figured it'd be cold weather, it'd be killing. Well, I guess it depends if it's viral or bacterial, right?
Exactly, yeah. Because with viruses, if you're outside and you're kind of in the sun and you're not, viruses spread when you're cramped together indoors. So when it's warmer out and everybody's outside, they're less likely to spread it to each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's counterintuitive. I just learned that this week.
The baloney children book fair. Fuck that, I'm not doing that. Oh god. Google canceled the physical portion of its I/O developer conference at the Shoreline Amphitheater in Mountain View on March 12th to the 14th due to concerns around the coronavirus, the COVID-19, and in accordance with health guidance from the CDC, WHO, and other health authorities, is said on the event's website.
I was going to say that that's probably too much, but if it's in accordance with what the CDC and the WHO are saying, then it's probably the right choice. I'm gonna say Premiere.
Okay. Facebook canceled its annual Global Marketing Summit, which was expected to draw 5,000 international attendees to the Moscone Center on March 9th through the 12th, as first reported by the San Francisco Chronicle.
I'm going to say something a little heartless here.
Yeah.
And that is that I think it's too much. If you're involved in Facebook in any way, on a corporate level, you absolutely should risk dying from this virus because you're an awful person, probably.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Mariah Carey announced on Twitter that she was rescheduling a March 10th concert in Hawaii. She'll be moving her Honolulu concert to March 28th. November 28th.
Oh, November 28th.
Yeah, November 28th. Yeah, March 28th would have just been
I was like, who moves it just like 2 weeks? Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna say that's just right. I'm gonna say Premiere.
Okay. Jeez, let's see what else is. Let's moving a little bit.
You're not taking people's money away. You're still gonna give them the show. It's just gonna be a little later, and you're gonna have some more time to evaluate the situation.
See, and that's another thing. Like, I mean, like all these events and everything. Like, are people getting reimbursed for this shit?
I don't know. Some of them they're not. I was just reading literally right before the show about how a bunch of kids on the South Side paid like $4,000 to go on like a European history tour. And of course that's been canceled now, and the company that's running it is not wanting to refund their money. And this is, I mean, you know the South Side of Chicago. People don't have $4,000 to just throw away.
Nope.
You know. So, yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, what about that? The 30-day travel ban to Europe.
I think that's probably the right choice just because I've been following some of the news in Europe and the infection rates are insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's getting bad over there.
I mean, in my opinion, I would say light. I would have done it indefinitely until they could figure out a solution. But I guess it's wise to put a 30-day period out because you can always extend it from that point if it doesn't change.
Right.
But it gives people an idea, like, hey, after 30 days, let's see how it goes. Where they can start making plans again. I guess when you say indefinitely, you really don't know.
Yeah, when you say indefinitely, I think that causes a panic.
So here, the NBA announced on Wednesday that it was suspending its season indefinitely after news broke that a player on the Utah Jazz, reportedly center Rudy Gobert, tested positive for coronavirus. There's no word on how long the suspension will last, but the season has not been canceled.
Oh, that's right. It's just suspended.
It's just suspended, yeah.
So I think this one's really interesting because we were talking about it on Geekcast Live this week too. Mm-hmm. Because it actually happened while we were recording the show. And on the one hand, I think it's probably the right choice to suspend it and wait and see. On the other hand, I've heard talks of them like playing in empty stadiums or whatever they're called, gyms. I don't.
Yeah, no, they're stadiums. Yeah, because
okay.
the March Madness, the NCAA March Madness college tournaments, they're still going to play them, but they're going to be empty stadiums.
Yeah, I figured the NBA would do the same thing, but I guess they probably want to make that money.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm torn between it being too much and it being just right. Cause I actually thought it was really, really, I thought it was incredible that they literally stopped the games and sent everyone home. Mm-hmm. Right in the middle of it. I was very impressed by that. You don't usually see businesses making a choice, to care about people more than the money they're making from that hot dog they're going to sell in third quarter.
Yeah. Well, same question, but this is for the NBA Gatorade League, which is basically the minor leagues of the NBA. Decision was suspended season. The G League also suspended its season indefinitely as well. So same recourse. I'm assuming different, same solution then.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know anything about that. Do people actually go to those games?
Yeah. Well, nice. Chicago Wolves. That's a minor league for, I want to say the St. Louis Blues.
Really?
Which I don't understand why minor league in one city is not the major league for the other city.
Yeah, that seems weird.
City. I don't get it. National Hockey League. As of today, they canceled morning skates, practices, and meetings, but have not canceled any games yet.
Interesting. That seems too light,
right?
I guess. If it's serious enough to cancel practice, like how are you going to be ready for the game?
Yep. No, I agree with you. I'm a full supporter of play the games, record it on TV, but don't open it to the public.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to the NCAA here in a minute because there's a couple things they are gonna do, but MLB baseball, which this hurts me a lot.
Yeah, this one's like, it's a blow to being an American.
Yeah. Cancel spring training, until further notice and push the opening day back 2 weeks.
That's wild to me.
I do believe there's also rumor that, I think the St. Louis Mariners are trying to find a different field to play in just because I guess Washington's been affected pretty heavy too.
Oh, yeah.
But also there's like 6 fucking, teams in California alone.
I always forget about that.
Yeah, what we got here? We got the San Diego Padres, we got San Francisco Giants, Los Angeles Angels, Los Angeles Dodgers, the Oakland A's, and no, it's at 5. So I'm gonna assume Arizona and Colorado are probably gonna be very busy.
Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting. Although I guess you don't want players coming in from all over the country bringing the disease with them to the spring training areas. So that's probably a smart choice.
Yeah.
And I suppose if you push opening day back by 2 weeks, it gives you 2 weeks to figure out if you need to do more or if you nailed it.
Gotcha.
I'll give it that. I think that's fine. I think that's light.
Oh, light?
Well, yeah, Premier. Sorry. I misread
it. Soccer. Soccer is suspending its season immediately and for 30 days. At least for the next 30 days, soccer is suspended.
Gotcha. Is this American soccer or is it like the whole world?
It is the MLS. Let's see. MLS was in a wait and see mode on Thursday morning. It appears the league will try to hold games this weekend and ask all visiting teams to get charter flights to travel to away games. That being said, with local governments issuing bans on large gatherings, the decision has been taken out of the league's hands and also complicating things. President Trump issued the EU travel ban on Wednesday night, which may limit the league's ability to sign European-based players before the May transfer deadline. Gotcha. So I want to say it is local, but I mean it does affect everywhere.
Gotcha. So it sounds like maybe on the one hand, it's too light because they're really just canceling it so they can make it through the travel ban and then hopefully pick up players. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, it sounds like maybe it's just right because we don't really know and especially if you're getting people over from Europe, right now it's quite rampant.
Gotcha. What the fuck is the Premier League? Isn't that soccer?
Sounds like soccer.
Yeah, let's go with it. I think it's soccer. The English Premier League will play its matches in empty stadiums going forward, according to multiple reports. A game on Wednesday between Manchester City and Manchester Arsenal was postponed. It's unclear how long the policy will be in effect.
Interesting. That seems fine. I like that. That seems like a good balance. You're still getting the games played, and people can still watch on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Seems fine to me.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so college basketball. That's the one everyone's kind of big on right now.
Yeah, well, it is March.
The Big Ten and the SEC announced just before afternoon today. This is Thursday, March 10th. Yeah. That they're canceling their conference tournaments. Not long before the first game Thursdays were set to start, the ACC, Pac-12, Big 12, AAC, MAC, Atlantic 10, Colonial, or Colonel, whatever, Conference USA and WAC tournaments have also been canceled. The Big East also canceled its tournaments at halftime of the Creighton St. John's game Thursday. The NCAA canceled its men's and women's basketball championships along with its other sports remaining winter and spring championships Thursday afternoon. And this is canceled. This isn't suspended.
Wow.
Canceled. This is canceled.
Wow. Wow. What were you going to say? Sorry.
I was going to say, so they went from a closed stadium to be televised closed stadium, and I believe that their whole original idea was, family and close friends could be in attendance, and that's it. Now they completely changed it to all canceled.
All canceled. Wow, that's shocking. I want to say extra.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I've said that yet. And this seems like the one example that might be. On the other hand, I am appreciative that somebody somewhere has said, we're going to take this seriously enough to cancel something serious.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like March Madness is huge. I mean, that's a $1 billion industry.
Yeah.
Not even including the colleges and stuff. That's just off of like the fantasy brackets.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. I mean, that's incredible to just, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
I've also heard, it also seems to depend on what college to college, the way that they're handling it. Like we were going to have an orchestra, performance, a week from now at our church.
Mm-hmm.
And, the orchestra was the local university orchestra. And they've actually, as of today, they canceled it.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
so, unfortunate, but I get it. It's caution.
Totally.
So.
Yeah, it's caution. But that's an example of, I think it might be too much. Cause it's a very small school and I just don't see anybody getting sick there, with any seriousness. Now granted, I don't necessarily want them in my church building because most of my people are over 50.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing with, or I was listening to I was talking with my congregants today and she was telling me that her son, who goes to a small private school up in Minneapolis,
mm-hmm.
His school is basically like, we're going to give you all an extra week of spring break. But like, just be smart about it. If you have to telecommute, like we'll figure it out, but we're not going to shut everything down over a virus that isn't here yet.
Yeah. Well, and I see a lot of things, and I get parents, they want to be cautious, especially with their younger children and everything.
Yeah.
But for them to get pissed at the school system for not shutting down the school quite yet.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you're so concerned, call your kid off. Like, just say, hey, listen, I get you want to have school, my kid's not going to be there. I mean, you have the choice. It's not like if they like, oh man, I don't want my kid to get sick, but school's in session.
Right.
No, it's like, there's certain points, and I think at this point, I can't speak for schools, but I think some schools are doing this, and I think some jobs too, if you call in and say you're not feeling well, they're going to give you a pass on it. You know, it's like now if you call in like every single day and you don't bring a doctor's note confirming your illness, yeah, then you're responsible for that shit. But to have like, your 5-year-old where you're concerned about, and say, hey, listen, Timmy's not going to come into school today. I'm just a little worried about the illness. I'm sure the school's not going to be like, well, bullshit, bring that kid into fucking class.
Right.
No, it's not going
to They're going to have to repeat the second grade.
Yeah. So instead of just, standing up as a parent and say, I'm going to do what's right for my kid, they're going to jump on social media and say, fuck this school system and fuck these teachers and fuck the board for allowing the school to still be open. It's like, it's still a school. And do you realize that even if you close the school down, let's say for 2 weeks, and Chicago knows about this because they had the strike earlier last year.
Yeah.
If you're off school for X amount of days, you have to make that up.
Yep.
And you can't sit there and say, oh, we can use snow days because coronavirus isn't a fucking snow day.
Right. Well, and the other thing is there are a lot of kids who, if they can't make it to school for breakfast because school is closed, they don't get breakfast because their parents can't afford to put breakfast on the table in the morning. Mm-hmm. There are a bunch of kids who aren't going to eat lunch if they can't eat lunch at school. So that's 2 meals a day that they're not going to get. Their home, their utilities might be shut off at home. So they might not have a warm house to be in this upcoming cold snap that's about to happen here in Chicago over this weekend.
Yeah.
They might not have lights. They might not have heating. They might not have food. So you got to keep the schools open, unfortunately, at least for those kids, so they can get a good meal and 8 hours of warmth. And if you don't want to send your kid, that's fine. Don't send your kid. Be a parent, be an adult, and make that decision for your family and then live with the consequences.
Yeah. Well, it's like when they sit there and they want, and I have no problem listening to people and their problems and everything. I do it on a constant basis. When they come up and want to bitch to me about like what their school's doing to like their like how their kid can't get ahead because the school's holding them back, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, okay, cool. What did the principal say when you told him all this? Well, I'm not going to tell him that. He doesn't fucking listen anyways. I'm like, there you go.
Right.
You want to go onto social media, you want to bitch about it. You want to talk to me, which I don't have kids, so I have no sympathy for what you're talking about right now and how dumb your kid is just because he eats sugar all fucking day and plays on your fucking phone all goddamn night. It's like, I'm sorry, but no. If your kid's dumb, I'm not blaming the school system until you talk to the fucking school system.
Yeah,
and
I agree with that.
Maybe the school sucks. Maybe your kid has a learning disability that hasn't been caught yet. But you can't sit there and bitch on social media about the school failing if one child that happens to be yours out of thousands of kids, one child's the only one failing. You can't blame the school system. There's a common denominator there, and it's your sugar-filled tablet-playing child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
The XFL, Extreme Football League, owned by Vince McMahon, the WWE, they didn't cancel anything. Games are going on as scheduled. They are trying to find relocations for the California stadiums games, but as of right now, nothing's canceled, nothing's changed.
I think I'm going to say light. That's not enough.
Yeah. Health. Let's see. The Department of Health recommended against gatherings of 1,000 people or more, but the XFL is leaving that decision up to Audi Field, which, yeah, I want to say it's in LA.
Say it again. Sorry.
So Audi Field, I believe that's the LA stadium. It's in California. They're going to play the game as scheduled, but they're going to leave it to the discretion of the stadium, not the sports, the fucking XFL. So the XFL is going to welcome in whoever wants to come in, but it's up to the stadium if they want to decide not to do that or not. And which, honestly, I guess realistically, I'm just saying maybe not the smartest choice because somebody who's sick and someone who's not sick should be in the same area. Obviously, you could agree with me on that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Should it be to the discretion of the people who want to go to the sporting events?
That's kind of how I feel. I'm not going to lie to you.
Right? Like if I know the coronavirus is happening, but I want to go to a Sox game, I need to make that judgment call on are watching the Sox worth potentially getting the coronavirus.
Right.
Because there was and I can't remember where the, which article it is, but there was a guy who was a vendor at some fucking sporting event that just tested positive for coronavirus. A vendor. A fucking vendor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go through, okay, we're gonna rapid fire some of these cause, we're kind of running out of time here.
Oh,
so,
yeah, dang.
XFL, you said it was light. I'm okay with that. PGA, the golf is gonna continue, but no crowd.
Okay. That's fine. Premier. That sounds right.
So here, NASCAR is going to continue as followed, but they're going to restrict the attendance to cruise officials and, other personnel that are connected to the race teams.
I think that seems fine. You're in a suit in NASCAR, you're in a car, you're not really around other people. Even the pit crews aren't really that close together as far as I've ever seen. I think that's okay.
Okay. IndyCar series. General admission has been canceled for IndyCar shows, and the decision about whether the race will happen is expected to happen later in the week. So they canceled general admission, but they're still going to have the race.
Gotcha. That seems fine. Premier.
Okay. Tennis. The ATP announced Thursday it's suspending the men's tour for 6 weeks, and the WTA next two events will be canceled. The Miami Open and the Volvo Car Open in Charleston, South Carolina were canceled. So cancel some events for tennis.
That seems, I'm gonna say Premier again. That seems 6 weeks is a good enough, it's far enough out.
Okay. I'm gonna give you this last one and you're gonna call it a light. I'm gonna predict it right now, right? I'm thinking it. It's gonna be fucking light. WrestleMania in Tampa Bay, Florida in 3 weeks. Going on as scheduled. Nothing changes.
Oh, light. Yeah, you're right.
I believe it's a 5-day event. They got the Hall of Fame on Thursday. They got WWE SmackDown on Friday. They got NXT on Saturday, WrestleMania on Sunday, and then Raw on Monday. Now I believe, SmackDown and Raw have been canceled, and if they are, they're probably going to air somewhere else. But as far as Tampa, the city of Tampa, not just ADE, but the city of Tampa states, WrestleMania is going on as planned. And I guess it has to be a really hard decision when it comes to these cities. I mean, fuck, even Chicago, they're not doing the fucking, St. Patty's Day parade. I don't know if they're still gonna paint the river green or not, but the whole fucking festival got canceled.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
That's probably the right choice. There's enough cases in Chicago right now that I think that's probably the right choice.
Yeah. Do you think they'll paint the river green still? Or no?
I don't know. I would like to think they would, but maybe they'll just want to save the money this year.
Yeah. Gotcha. So overall, Joe, I think we kind of agreed that I think you agreed that majority of things were pretty premier. A couple light, a couple, extra, but more than likely, people are really falling into where they need to be despite the views and opinions of other people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think sometimes people don't always make the right choice for themselves. Mm-hmm. And so it is a good idea to, make sure people stay safe.
Yeah. I agree with you. Guys, if you haven't had a chance yet, we released a video this past week on our FreakNet Studios YouTube page where me, along with Sarge from the Gray Area, ranked 6 of the top franchisiest burgers. So make sure you check that out. We did do another video a couple weeks ago on hot sauces. Check that one out as well. And there's also going to be a new video released this coming week. That's going to be me, Sarge, and Cartoon Joe as we rank the top 10 sodas.
That's right.
Yeah.
So excited.
Yeah. So make sure you guys check that out. Again, that's FreakNet Studios. You can just search it right there on YouTube. Subscribe to it. Hit the notification bell. Notify also when the videos drop, you guys know about it. And make sure you follow FreakNet Studios on Facebook and Instagram at FreakNet Studios. And also everyone who's part of FreakNet Studios. That's obviously This Freakin' Show with Travis T and Cartoon Joe. Just Freakin' Wrestling, which is me and Dizzle J. Or Doug Gray Area, which is hosted by Sarge. Make sure you follow all of our social media platforms on Google or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at their respective links. Our show can be found every single week on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Podbean, just by searching This Freakin' Show. And, we have merchandise at tpublic.com, TEPUBLIC.com. Just search TFS and you can find the Travis T shirt. You can find the Cartoon Joe shirt. You can find the logos of This Freakin' Show shirts, the Follow Your Star Award shirt, Freakin is my second favorite F-word shirt. So many different shirts are available right there at TeePublic, TeePublic.com, search TFS.
Nice.
Joe, what are you freaking thinking about?
What am I freaking thinking about? I am freaking thinking about, I had an answer to this. I actually went out of my way to find one today, and I totally have biffed it. Right now, at this exact moment, I found a fantastic painting of my favorite artist, Vincent van Gogh. And he is smoking a pipe, and there are a couple of ravens that are like, one of them's got a razor blade and the other one's opening a bottle of wine. And the background of the painting is very Starry Night, which is my favorite painting by Vincent van Gogh.
Yeah.
And it popped up on my Facebook feed, and I'm getting ready to make it my background on my iPad.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's probably what I'll go with. That seems good. What about you? What do you freaking thinking about?
I think this weekend I am going to try to put together the plan for Freaky Tales.
Nice.
I know that I know it's something we want to do. I know it's something that we have a passion on doing, and I would love to get something together by Halloween. Somehow Sarge became a part of it, which I'm okay with. I don't know how we turn into 3, but hey, whatever.
Right.
But no, I'm more than happy for him to participate. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and he's definitely an idea guy. Like, I think when it comes to bullshit and making things up, he crushes it every fucking time. So, I want to put together a plan and kind of an idea of like what we need to do, like what we need to make and you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Freaky Tales is going to be a short story, how do you describe it, Joe?
Short story anthology.
Yeah, of scary stories. Spooky stories.
It's going to be a collection of spooky, scary skeleton stories.
Yeah. And if you guys don't know what Freaky Tales is, that's a segment that we do every Halloween when we do this Freaky show, where the Freak Joe makes his appearance for the entire month of October and reads a story to us. Now, more than likely, I think 95% of the time, it's always been something that's already out there. The Raven, the Telltale Heart. I can't remember the other one, but it was something with the pendulum. I can't remember.
Yeah, the Pit and the Pendulum, I believe.
Pit and the Pendulum. Fucking love that. Yes, and that's what it. Fucking love that story. There was one time we had a fan submitted a story, and congrats and awesome for that opportunity for us to read that. But the overall goal now is for us to create our own short stories that we can now have Freak Joe read in October.
That's true.
So, I'm going to try to put together an idea of how many stories we need, how many words per story we need, and what we need to do to get that published. And if I have time, which I probably will because I don't do anything, I may start on my first idea that I have. I have an idea for a story, and I'm going to work on that. I just got to figure out how many words I need and where I want to go with it. So
nice. I just remembered what I was actually freaking on this week.
Yes, go ahead.
There's a great podcast that I've been listening to for about a year now called Behind the Bastards.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hosted by my favorite journalist, Robert Evans. And today they release episodes Tuesdays and Thursdays. So today's Thursday as we're recording. And he released an episode. It's the 6th episode he's done about L. Ron Hubbard, and it is magnificent. And I highly recommend it. He likes to sometimes he'll do some political stuff. This is not a political episode. It's just good, clean fun.
Mm-hmm.
So highly recommend it. It's Behind the Bastards. You can find it anywhere pods are casted. And also, along those lines, if you want more information on coronavirus, with good facts about how it started, where it spread, the rate it's spreading at, why it's spreading so quickly, that kind of stuff, I recommend another podcast that includes Robert Evans called Worst Year Ever. You don't have to listen to any of the political ones. The one this week is focused on the coronavirus and the current response that the USA is mustering. So I highly recommend it. Great place to get some information.
Nice. Hey, Joe.
Yes.
Every week our listeners can catch Cartoon Joe here on this freaking show. But if an hour a week of Cartoon Joe just isn't enough for our listeners, where can they go?
If you need more Cartoon Joe, you can find me over at the Geekcast Live podcast at violentpress.com. You can also find us on Facebook, iTunes, Google Play, and Twitter by searching Geekcast Live.
Excellent. Guys, again, follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at This Freakin' Show, and catch our show every single week on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and Podbean just by searching This Freakin' Show. That's F-R-E-A-K-I-N. No G, because that's what we decided fucking 5 years ago.
That's right.
Oh, God. Coming close, Joe. Our 200th episode is coming around, I believe, in September, and also our 5-year anniversary is going to happen around the same time, too. It's crazy how life works. It's crazy how fucking life works.
It really is.
But guys, though, you know how to reach us. Contact us on Facebook if you have any suggestions, or if you yourself wants to be on the show. If you guys want to be a guest on the show, talk about something you created, we'll be more than welcome to have you. We do have a couple guests that have reached back out to us, and we're going to line them up to get back on the show. So we'll get that taken care of shortly. But in the meantime, I am Travesty.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And thank you for listening to another episode of This Freakin' Show. I'm out.